You're gonna pay for that!
Old history now. Your turn. Remind me why you came to Andromeda.
I spent years watching pioneers go through the Arcturus mass relays. Off to glory, while I stayed behind. Then Dad's career collapsed. His AI research made him too toxic.
I heard. Must have changed everything for your family.
It was time to forge my story and my horizons, and to give Sarah a shot at making the discovery of a lifetime.
In this harmless conversation with Cora, we actually get Scott's motivation for coming to Andromeda. Remember, there is only one major motivation an average person would have to come here, and that's a sense of belonging. So someone else is going, like a family member. Basically, you're going with your family. The exception being Callow Jath. He just wants to fly the Tempest he helped to build. He's kind of like Joker 2.0. That's his goal, that's his passion, and he doesn't really care where he physically is, as long as he gets to fly. So you could say he feels he belongs there on the ship in whatever capacity. Now the inverse of that is that you're some kind of person trying to escape your bad situation, so it's a sense of alienation, to acquire a sense of belonging, like a new start. That's kind of what Alec Ryder is doing, but not exactly. It has to be an extreme case of alienation, so such a person would have to be extremely disgruntled, afraid, or other kinds of strong negative emotions to want to go far away or escape and do whatever it takes to do so. So not quite like an incarcerated criminal, but someone who feels vilified somehow in an entire galaxy, which would be pretty amazing to find yourself in. So I don't really think Alec is actually in that sort of scenario. The second case is the extremist, but Scott and Sarah, they're not of that type of personality, even though Scott says he wants to give Sarah that sort of opportunity. So this is a good reasoning, I guess, for a character, but not so much for our protagonist, and still doesn't address the plot or the problem with the premise. Scott is still just some guy.
Oh, hey, Pathfinder.
The Pathfinder's there? Let me say hi.
Fine, but don't embarrass me. Ryder, this is Sid, my sister. Sid Ryder.
Let me guess. Little sister?
Who are you calling little?
Look, kiddo, gotta go.
Wait, Ryder, I just wanted to know if...
Oh, before I go, you said you're serving with Commander Shepard now? We saw him on the news here. He's cute. Later, sis.
Tell me you didn't hear that.
This suddenly feels like an apology of those who thought Ashley was a space Nazi. It's almost the exact same scene, but with a female alien. And this is kind of a weird and subjective opinion for me here, but I just can't see her eyes. I literally can't quite make them out. She has a giant glowing visor over them, and her eyeballs are either dark or black. Is this intentional? Is she unattractive? Does she need this sort of neon Google Glass thing in everything she does? You might be thinking, well, what about Tali or any of the Quarians? Well, you could kind of see their eyes. They sort of lit up behind their masks, gave us something to focus on. But here it's a little distracting when you can't quite see someone's eyes when you're speaking to them. I don't think we're having a problem with facial animations here either. For one of Mass Effect's selling points, looking into someone's eyes to personally identify with them in a conversation is kind of important, so Vetra here in a conversation, it just doesn't feel right to me. It's like talking to someone who's always wearing sunglasses, and combine that with them being an alien, and the only things that work on a human level at least are body language and the voice acting, as opposed to you understanding their emotions with facial expressions by looking at their eyes and eyeballs.
I know that I can be of use here. I know everyone on the crew, even the actuators Gil prefers for the ship. Better, I know how to get my hands on them. With me around, your crew's going to be at their best. We've been failing for months, Ryder. Now that we have you, we have a chance out here.
Really? Months? What have you been doing and failing at for months? Again, why are we so vital? Vetra seems to know everything about this ship and its people, and seems to be the best to lead it. Callow seems passionate and very competent. You got a scientist here and an engineer, and I'm sure you could find a doctor. What was the holdup here? Seriously, this is kind of important. The game keeps reminding us at every turn how important Pathfinders are, but not telling or showing us how or why, yet showing us all these other people who are very competent and ready to go. It's like a parent trying to coddle their child, or a company using marketing tactics to sell their clients on how special they are, but not really having any substance to their words. So why are we here? And if things are so desperate, why wasn't anyone else doing anything?
Wow, that's some laser focus.
Yeah? Was it too much? Some people get intimidated.
We need that sort of drive. I just hope I can keep up.
You'll keep up. And I promise I won't tell if you don't. I should track down a lead for Gil's actuators. Back channels, you know.
Okay, wait a sec. What is Vetra laser focused on? What is her drive? Is it greasing wheels? Is it because she can find Gil's actuators and help everyone else? But then how is she focused or passionate about these things? I really didn't catch this. And I watched this scene over and over again, but I still don't grasp what her passion and her extreme focus is. Was it in her body language? Again, I have a problem seeing her face, but that's kind of immaterial here. To me, this topic was a complete non sequitur. It's like there are two separate conversations going on, so much that the second topic could have been about Vetra's curiosity or solitude or whatever. It would just be confusing and just as meaningless. I'm really glad you're here, Pathfinder. I feel we finally have a shot. By the way, I love candy and Blasto figurines.
Wow, that's some laser focus.
Really? Some people are intimidated by that. With my interest in psychology, I can tell my sister is clearly interested in you, if you can keep up.
We need that sort of drive. I just hope I can keep up.
And there you have a conversation just as meaningless.
How did you hear of the Andromeda initiative?
Short answer, Kesh. She was looking for some experimental ship mods, and I knew how to track them down. I thought it was a one-time deal, but she came back. Once, twice. Eventually I figured out something was going on, something big with creds behind it. I asked and she told me about the initiative. New galaxy, new home. Couldn't pass that up.
Alright, so Vetra came to Andromeda with her sister because she was getting paid by Kesh, and Kesh just so happened to want to go to a new galaxy with a potentially new home, and for some reason she couldn't pass that up. For someone so pragmatic who can do jobs for anyone, and does, and Kesh was just one of her many clients, back in the Milky Way at least, there was no reason for her to go anywhere. Why abandon her business over one client? What was the big appeal of going to a new galaxy? Hey, want to relocate to another place and have a whole new home and be my #1 distributor? No. I have a life here, and I have other business opportunities. You're just one of many. I mean, why would anyone do that? Unless specified in the narrative or somewhere else that she's in extremely dire situations, or maybe she's getting paid very well by Kesh, or was in some loss of family, or had some loss of belonging somewhere, which I stated previously. This is phenomenally stupid. We can chalk this back up to the poor premise and how it was explained, but also they obviously just wanted a female Turian squad mate, but couldn't quite tell us why, or at least coherently. Vetra here has no major themes she's expressing that is part of the narrative, and there's no reason for, someone of Turian culture or female Turian culture for being here. There's nothing. It's just, hey, she's here. She happens to be alien.
You're pretty familiar with the ship.
I made sure the technicians had what they needed to keep the Tempest ready and waiting. Leadership wanted to strip her for parts, but I kept saying, a Pathfinder's gonna show up. I like being right.
Okay, again, she has the charismatic capacity, the intelligence, and the political sway to keep all those morons on the Nexus from stripping their apparently huge premier scout ship to do the thing they really need, like saving their ass, all because of a Pathfinder might potentially show up. Even though Vetra is more than capable of being a ship captain and can go on missions, and we have a crew, and you save the ship, and you did all this by yourself, but you still can't captain it or influence others to let you go get the resources for them that they so desperately need. even able to get things for people like, the Ferengi using the great material continuum philosophy. You're good at arguing, you're good at conning and getting people what they want. I just do not understand this character, why she's here, or how stupid this setup for this scenario is. The writers are telling us this character can do everything we can solve the initiative's problems, probably better than we can, but because she doesn't have the made-up imaginary title of Pathfinder, or that we're not controlling her, whatever the title of Pathfinder is anymore, she can't captain this ship. She just can't. I don't even think it crossed her mind. So we're on our way to Eos.
Yay, brother.
And for some reason, we haven't solved the problem of filtering light from our windows. So we put a hand over our face. I think the original Mass Effect commercial solved this problem. That and Shepard was a goddamn badass. During this time, Scott can't hear properly.
Than the Nexus has had in months.
What? I said never know how that'll affect. Sorry. You okay?
Wait, what?
This is exactly why we came. A new galaxy, a new ship. I can't wait to get both.
Oh, there's a face malfunction.
Pathfinder, the Tempest checks out. We're good.
Wait, why wouldn't it be? Did traveling damage the ship? What are you trying to figure out? How to land it? If other ships and shuttlecrafts landed on Eos before, we really shouldn't have that much of a difficulty, right?
Take us down.
You have no idea how long I've wanted a Pathfinder to say that.
Yeah, sure thing, water ice science lady.
There. Set us down at this nav point.
Yeah, it's because he's so Pathfindery. Couldn't have done it without you, Scotty boy. Real contribution to the team there. Maybe you could have pointed that out just before we started our descent, maybe? Isn't your console synced up to this thing in your brain or something?
What are we even supposed to do here?
We're here to get resources for the Nexus, right? Arguably, we don't know which kind exactly, which is actually really important. But maybe we're also here to set up an outpost. I think that's what the director said. Maybe eventually make a colony. And what is all this crap in the background? Didn't they tell us what resources they actually wanted? Is everyone just winging it?
Reports state this planet suffers deadly storms that are contaminated by radiation from the Scourge.
I don't recall seeing the Scourge in any of the cutscenes, or in orbit, or the atmosphere. What is this guy talking about? How big is this fabricated anomaly exactly? Are there Scourges in every solar system? Does the Ket have the power to do that? Is this a made-up conflict?
Eo's deployment was incomplete due to environmental hazards and ultimately hostile encounters.
Plus, no Pathfinder. If Eos is like Habitat 7, that signal we scanned must be connected with the atmosphere.
Why did they need a Pathfinder? What are we going to do that they couldn't, like maybe with Sam? And how would planets in entirely different solar systems have anything to do with each other?
We could use the outpost's antenna to track it down. Let's get the power back on.
Alright, so they have an outpost, but the power's off. So we have to make it a viable outpost. If this place is unlivable, then why? I mean, harsh environments and deadly encounters, is that really it? And what path are we finding here? Seems everyone's already built everything, whatever they decided upon, and their stuff is just lying around. So we're not really pathfinding, we're just the deadly maintenance crew.
They must have known these wouldn't last in these conditions.
How would they know? They didn't have a Pathfinder.
What does having a Pathfinder have anything to do with understanding the technology that's put down, like electrical equipment, and have it not last in a hostile environment, even indoors? I mean, is our Pathfinder an appliance salesman? Did he build the things? Do Pathfinders service mechanical and electrical devices? And are the people who installed these buildings and technologies, are they really that dumb? This is a Mass Effect game. Congratulations, BioWare. So we have to go unlock a door, but we need to find a signal, but that involves enabling power to the door or antenna or something. Apparently we simply can't break the door, so we find a guy who's still around who cut power to the antenna because the cat can then detect it, so we encourage him to turn it back on, and we kill the cat, all of which something a technician and Kandros' militia should have had no problems dealing with. But again, we're the Pathfinder.
Word of advice, though. If that signal of yours is out past the perimeter, you'll need a ride.
A ride?
Shuttles aren't fun in these winds. You need wheels. I think they kept a little something in storage.
So what's stopping a shuttle from flying close to the ground? If they can withstand traveling through planetary atmospheres, they should be just fine 10 to 5 meters off the ground, no matter how windy it is. Why can't we simply just take the Tempest, land elsewhere, and then walk or fly really lowly in a shuttlecraft? Do we not have shuttles? Is this really the excuse for getting into a car on Eos? Shuttles are dangerous in wind?
Didn't get around to salvaging it yet?
I tried. It ain't that simple. Might be easier for a Pathfinder, though.
And yet another skill in our arsenal that only Pathfinders have is we can hack into cars, as opposed to the scavenger of both tech and electrical equipment. We can just do it with cars, apparently.
We're heading to our shuttle. Keep this up. Maybe next time we'll find more than just salvage around here.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You have a shuttle, and you're safe flying it, but I don't have a shuttle. I'm not safe flying in it. I gotta take a car. I just want to be totally clear of what's going on here. Because now we know that Pathfinders can't fly shuttles. That's very important, because apparently we can do anything and solve any problem except fly a shuttlecraft.
Power restored. We should have access to everything in Site 1 now, right, Sam?
Correct. Plus, I've located the source of the signal we detected in orbit. It's coming from the large alien structure just beyond Site 1. The structure appears almost identical to the one your father used to adjust the atmosphere on the previous planet. It's worth investigation.
So the strange alien terraforming structure on Habitat 7 is apparently identical to the one on Eos. Wow, what a coincidence.
All-terrain scout rover.
A Nomad. 6-wheel drive, jump jets, just what you need.
The initiative only built a few.
Yeah, we're just spacemen who fly in spaceships called shuttles. What purpose would building a dune buggy serve? So we get into the Nomad and hit some ancient alien structure. After putzing around, we're able to turn it on, or about to turn it on, and we somehow get jumped by this person we haven't seen yet, and she hasn't seen us yet, and even though we climb the structure she's been studying for months, we're on top of, and Sam can detect things in orbit and on the land. I'm kind of curious how we missed her and how she missed us. Also, instead of her shooting us or, stopping us or holding her hand or whatever, she tackles us. She's also not wearing a full-body spacesuit or helmet or breather mask, even though we were told that anything outside the area from the first habitat was very hazardous, aside from this safe zone, which means she traveled here somehow, dangerously through it, and obviously she didn't have a car because she wasn't a Pathfinder. She then stripped off her clothing. That means she must have come here in a shuttle.
I know. Who am I? I mean, it's obvious who you are. I saw the ship swoop in. You're a Pathfinder. Was beginning to think the initiative just made you guys up so the rest of us wouldn't lose hope, but you're for real, huh?
So she saw the ship, knew who we were, didn't say hello, can't believe we're a Pathfinder, the guy who apparently can do anything anyone can't, and this random person is amazed after studying this place for months, and somehow knows that the hand motion we were about to do is bad for something. And dear Lord, what is wrong with this idle animation face thing? I mean, does it match your thinking process here? I know my current facial expression is extremely incomprehensible right now, so I'm going to take a break.
You're gonna pay for that, you bastards!